He said, Mark, I want to try something different. I want to open up your hip. I want to chisel bone off your pelvic. I want to open up your legs again and take that bone from your pelvic, and I want to graft it. I want to squeeze it in that inch gap. And then for 12 hours a day, I want to run electricity through your legs to stimulate bone growth. As disgusting as that sounds, that's the first positive thing I'd heard in over a year from a doctor. It's called bone grafts. 1 month from the day of that surgery, I stood for the first time on my own legs. And I'll be honest with you, I thought about quitting because the pain was so intense. But I remembered my goals, and it helped me stay focused on what I wanted to accomplish. I had to learn to stand again with the help of therapists. Then I had to learn to walk again with therapists. But today, I walk with my own legs, most of the time without a limp. I have good days and bad days. I've returned to law enforcement. I've been in that business now over 20 years. In 1992, I heard about a race sponsored by the Mis Kiwanis Club, 4th of July midnight run. I called him up and said, hey, listen, can you tell me about your race? And the gentleman said, well, sir, actually we have 2 races at midnight. We have a 3K and a 10K, 1.8 and a 6.2 mile race. I said, great, can you send me an entry form for your short race? He said, sure. What's your name? I said, Mark Franzman. He said, wait a minute. Weren't you that cop that got run over by the drunk driver? I said, hey, that's me. That's my claim to fame. That's me. Amazingly, he said, man, I'm sorry. You can't participate in our run. Oh, wait a minute. You don't understand. I set a goal to do this. He said, I'm really sorry to tell you this, Mark, but we don't have a wheelchair division for this race. See, you have to go over a drawbridge, and the wheelchairs get stuck on the grates up there. I said, no, I don't want to ride in the race. I want to run in the race. My goal was not to come in first, not to set any records. My goal was real simple, to run 1.8 miles without walking. It took me 25 minutes to accomplish that. No, I'm not going to the Olympics with that speedy time. I imagine there are many in this auditorium that could probably run that distance backwards and beat my time. But probably not with my legs. But something far greater happened to me than accomplishing that goal. With the letters that I got from all over Pinellas, Pasco, and Hillsborough County, from every imaginable walk of life that said, Mark, this is my hurdle. This is my adversity. And I'll be honest with you, Mark, I quit on myself. But gosh, if you can do it, if you can overcome your hurdles, I can overcome mine. And I'm going to keep trying, and I'm going to keep fighting. Man, I got inspired. I said by running 1.8 miles, help that many people that I didn't even know existed on this planet. Gosh, what would happen if next year I set a goal to run the 10K? And I did. I was told that I was only setting myself up for more disappointment, that I'd never be able to do it. That next year, there was over 1,000 runners for that 10K race. And they gave me the number 1 to wear. And they said, Mark, this is great. We're going to sit you right in the front of 1,000 runners to get the best start possible. Now, I don't know if there's any serious runners out there, but you know what 999 serious runners look like standing behind you? Yeah. Oh, I had no vision of the finish line. I had vision of the nursing home and all my meals from a straw again. I said, man, this is great. I like the number 1. I'm going to keep that because that looks pretty cool, but I'm going to start dead last. I'm going to walk all around the back of the pack because, trust me, I'm not here to beat anybody. I mean, it's a midnight run. I'll be happy if I get back when the sun comes up. Out of 1,000 runners, and I started dead last. Any idea where I finished? Dead last. Took me an hour and 25 minutes to run that. But I didn't walk. But something far greater happened to me than accomplishing that. See, 2 national magazines came into town to do a story on that. So this time I got letters from all over the country, from every imaginable walk in life, with every imaginable problem, that said, hey, if you can do it, I can do it. I've had over 20 operations so far. I've had bone grafts, skin grafts, 2 plates in my right arm. I've had my left foot sawed in half, shaved, realigned, pinned back together. I've had my Achilles tendons removed, notched, lengthened, reattached. It goes on and on and on. A few years ago, I developed traumatic arthritis in both ankles. It got to be a point last year that I couldn't walk anymore because of the pain. So my core group of doctors that I'm going to now, Dr. Schwab, who's phenomenal, removed my left ankle bone and ran 2 screws through that ankle joint. It's called a bone ankle fusion. I have no movement in my left ankle. They tell me it won't be long before they're going to have to do that to my right ankle. See, when I got hit by the drunk driver, I was sentenced to life. A life of pain and a life of uncertainty. But when I start to get down, I remember my goals, and it helps me stay focused. You know, I have shared and encouraged people here to set goals. And when I was in the nursing home, I came up with a formula for the word goals. I broke it down by each letter. I want to share that with you real quickly. The first letter is G, and that stands for God. I'm a firm believer in prayer. I encourage everybody in this room to put God first in your life. He'll strengthen your personal relationship with Him. Don't ever hesitate in going to the Lord with your problems, no matter how big or how small, because He'll help you reach those goals. Before each of my operations, I would pray, Lord, just get me through this one. Just give me the strength for today. Amazingly, I never went in that operating room feeling as if I was alone. In Isaiah chapter 40, verse 29 and 31 tells us, He gives strength to the weary, and to him that lacks might, He increases power. Yet those who wait for the Lord will gain new strength. They will mount up with wings like eagles. They will run and not get tired. They will walk and not become weary. The next letter is O, and that stands for overcoming. I encourage you to meet your difficulties head on. Never back down from those difficulties. And 1 or 2 things are going to happen. You're going to overcome the hurdle, or the hurdle is going to overcome you. But through prayer and determination, there's nothing we can't accomplish. We just never, ever can quit. The next letter is A, and that stands for attitude. Your attitude determines your altitude. We need to learn to maintain a positive attitude, even in the midst of the storm. And often what's so difficult is we need to learn to thank God for our difficulties and our challenges. Because when we overcome them, they're going to make us much, much more strong in our relationship with Him. You know, it was once said, there's little difference in people, but that little difference makes a big difference. That little difference is attitude. The big difference is whether it's positive or negative. The next letter is L. That stands for lasting. Never, ever quit. No matter how bad the storm seems, I assure you it's going to pass. No, it's not always easy reaching our goals. It's going to take prayer, hard work, sacrifice. But we will succeed. And the last letter is S, and that stands for success. Through prayer and following these steps, we have the needed tools to face our challenges head on and to overcome those problems.